Hey, shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and welcome to the Daily Drosh. Today's Daily Drosh is taken from Psalm 90, verse 1, and we're going to be touching on verse 3 as well. And I'm going to be reading from the Tree of Life version, and it says, a prayer of Moses, the man of God. My Lord, you have been our dwelling from generation to generation. That really jumped out at me this morning as I read that. My Lord, you have been our dwelling from generation to generation. When we think of a dwelling, we think of a place. We either think of property, we think of land, we think of a country, we think of a physical building, such as an apartment, a house, a shack, a tent, a sukkah even. It says, my Lord, you have been our dwelling from generation to generation. This tells me and this shows us that a dwelling place, an abiding place, doesn't have to be a physical location. It can be somewhere in the spirit. It can be somewhere in the inner man. And the most safest, most secure, most satisfying, most restful place that we can ever dwell in and abide in is in the Lord our God. He is our strength, our shield. He is our tower. He is our refuge. He is our ever-present help in time of trouble. So let me ask you, is the Lord your dwelling place? Are you dwelling in the Lord? This was very important to the children of Israel because many times throughout the history of the Jewish people and the Hebrew people, they didn't have a physical dwelling place. They were nomads. They were slaves in the land of Egypt. They weren't welcome in Egypt. They were living there. Their bodies were there, but they couldn't dwell there. They couldn't live and thrive there. They couldn't abide there. In the Exodus, they were wandering around 40 years in the wilderness. You had the Babylonian exile, you had the Assyrian exile, you had the modern day diaspora before the state of Israel, where the Jewish people have been scattered all over the globe, all over the world. They have no dwelling place. They have no place to call home. They have no place to live, to abide, to dwell, to thrive. Because when you think of dwelling and when you think of abiding, you think of happiness, peace, calm, thriving, truly living. And when you can't abide and when you can't rest, you're not truly dwelling. You're not truly living. So the Lord was saying, look, I know you hardly ever have a place to rest your head. Didn't Yeshua say, foxes have holes, birds of the air has nest, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head? He too was a wanderer. He too was a sojourner in the land. And so when we physically don't have a place to go, we can always rest and abide in God wherever we are. Paul said that I've learned, and in every situation and circumstance, therewise be content. He said this from a dungeon, from a prison cell. He was abiding in the Lord in prison. He was at perfect peace and rest, even while his physical body was racked with pain, tortured, uncomfortable, chilled, cold, probably dealing with lice and rats and what have you. And verse 3, it says, you turn mankind back to dust, saying, return, children of Abraham, or children of Adam, I'm sorry. This spoke to me and said, you know what? Only God can unscramble an egg. Only God can take something so complex and bring it back to its simplicity, back to its basic elements. And God wants simplicity in our life. Simplicity by dwelling in Him, by being secure in Him. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Go out there and truly understand and know what it means to abide, to dwell in the Lord today. Shalom. Come to abrahamsdescendants.com and check out our kosher comic section called Inside the Bushel and its archives. You'll be glad you did.